LearnPC gratefully acknowledges the input and assistance of the Ashton Tate Corporation, IBM Corporation, MicroWorks, Zenith Data Systems, Egghead Discount Software, Plaza 3. Portions of this program are copyrighted by the Ashton Tate Corporation and are used with permission. dBase and Ashton Tate are registered trademarks, and dBase 4 is a trademark of Ashton Tate Corporation. Welcome to Organizing and Printing Databases in the LearnPC dBase 4 training series. In a moment, your hands-on learning will begin. First, a few notes about this course. To complete this course, we assume that you know how to start dBase 4, display the data screens, and use the dBase 4 menu system. If you feel you are not yet at this level, complete the courses, creating databases and updating databases before moving on. In this course, there are 3 new lessons: creating a sorted file, organizing a database using indexes, and printing a quick report. In creating a sorted file, you will learn to create a new organized version of a database file. In organizing a database using indexes, you will learn how to create special index files that display organized versions of a database. And in printing a quick report, you will learn how to print a quick copy of your database. Like the other courses in this series, this course consists of a videotape, computer diskette, and a guidebook. We will use the same computer equipment used in prior courses. Details are in your guidebook. In most cases, the tape follows this order. First, my colleague and I will demonstrate a procedure on the computer. Then you will see an instruction screen like this that describes the procedure. While the tape is running, do not work on your computer. When procedures are completed, you will have a chance to stop the tape and practice the procedures on your computer using the LearnPC diskette and guidebook. You have the option. You can stop and practice every time a procedure is completed, or if you prefer, watch sections of the tape or the entire tape and practice later. Your guidebook is available for reference. We are now ready to begin. At this point, stop the tape and write down your tape recorder's counter number in your guidebook. In this lesson, creating a sorted file, you will learn how to organize information using the dBase sort feature, design a sorted file, select from 4 different sorts, create a sorted file based on 1 field, sort a file on 2 or more fields, use the field name pick list to enter field names, save sorted files using Control-N, retrieve sorted files. Organization is important in any office, especially when we're trying to find information quickly. Imagine looking for a file folder in a file drawer that isn't organized. You would have to search each folder one at a time until you found the right folder. A little organization can save a lot of time. In an office, there are many different ways to organize records. We can organize records in alphabetical order, numeric order, or by date. dBase lets us organize records any way we want. dBase organizes records based on the contents of a field. For example, we could organize records alphabetically based on name, city, or state fields. Or we could organize records by date based on a date field. We could also organize records numerically based on numeric fields, such as the salary field or years employed field. dBase offers several tools to help us organize records. In this lesson, you will learn about one of those tools, the dBase sort feature. The sort feature lets us sort or organize records in our database file. While sorting our records, dBase uses a special process. Here's how the process works. When dBase creates a sorted file, copies of records in the original database are put in order and copied to a completely new database file. After sorting, we end up with two complete versions of our database, the original unorganized database file and a new sorted database file. To show you how to create a sorted file, we will use a database called Supplier. This database contains records of companies that sell supplies to the XYZ company. We will start at the Control Center by highlighting the file name Supplier. To see the records in the database, we press the Data key, F2. When we do, the Browse screen appears. As you can see, there is no order to these records. We will give these records some order using the sort feature. We will sort the records alphabetically based on the name field. The sort feature will alphabetize records from the supplier file and create a new database file. To make a sorted file, we must start at the Control Center. So we exit the Browse screen. We press Alt-E and press E again to exit. When we create a sorted file, we create a file with a new design. Therefore, we will start by using the design keychain, Shift F2. With the supplier file highlighted, we press Shift F2. When we do, the field structure screen appears with the Organize menu open. Sorting organizes our database, so we will use the Organize menu now. From the menu, we want the choice Sort Database on Field List. So we press S. dBase displays a new box. We use this box to design our sorted database file. We will start by choosing which field to sort. The navigation line at the bottom tells us to enter a field name. We want to sort the name field. So we type name and press enter. The next column is called type of sort. This is where we choose the type of sort we want. We can choose from 4 types of sorts: ascending, ASCII, descending, ASCII, ascending dictionary, and descending dictionary. Ascending ASCII means that words beginning with A come first. Those beginning with B come second, and so on. The term ASCII refers to a standard system of computer organization. This system organizes capital letters first, then lowercase letters. For example, let's say we enter the word apple with a lowercase a in one record. In another record, we enter the word zebra with a capital Z. ASCII would put zebra ahead of apple because capital letters come before lowercase letters. As you might guess, descending ASCII is like ascending ASCII, except the ordering starts from Z and goes to A. Ascending dictionary and descending dictionary organize fields the same way a dictionary organizes words. Therefore, capital letters are treated the same as lowercase letters. Your guidebook has more information about the 4 types of sorts. We can change the type of sort by pressing the space bar. When we press the space bar, the 4 different kinds of sorts appear. For our supplier database, we will use ascending dictionary. We press the space bar until ascending dictionary appears. We have finished designing a sorted database file based on the name field. Now we must tell dBase we are at the end of the design process. To end the sorted file design process, we use the keychain Control-N. You can remember Control-N by thinking of the word end. We use Control End at the end of the process when designing a sorted database file. When we press Control End, dBase asks us to name our new sorted file. We type AlphaSup, short for an alphabetical list of suppliers. Then we press Enter. dBase creates our new sorted file. The status bar tells us we are still using the supplier database file. To see the new file, we must return to the Control Center. We exit the field structure screen using the Exit menu. Then we press S to select Save Changes and Exit. In the message line, dBase asks us to press Enter to confirm. When we do, dBase displays the Control Center. Notice that our new file, AlphaSup, is now listed in the database panel. The original supplier database file is still on our disk and has not changed. Now, on our disk, we also have a new version of the same records. The new version is the database file called AlphaSup. The records in AlphaSup have been sorted and alphabetized by name. To look at the file, we move the highlight down to the file name AlphaSup. Then we press the Data key, F2. The Browse screen appears, showing the contents of our new sorted database file. The status bar tells us we are now using the file AlphaSup. Notice all the supplier names are now in alphabetical order. If you wish, stop the tape and practice designing and creating a sorted file on your computer. Remember, use the Control End keychain when you end designing your sort. Name the new sorted file AlphaSup. We just created a new sorted database file called AlphaSup. AlphaSup contains all the same records as our original database file, Supplier. The difference is the records in our original database file have no order. The records in our new file are organized in alphabetical order, by name. The sorted file we just created was based on one field, the name field, but we can also create a sorted file based on two or more fields. For example, the XYZ company has several suppliers in the same city. We would like dBase to first sort and alphabetize the cities. Once grouped by city, we want dBase to further sort these records based on the amount of credit available. To create this sort, we will ask dBase to sort the city field first and then sort the amount of credit field. As we said earlier, when we create a sorted file, we create a file with a new design. Therefore, we start by using the Design keychain, Shift F2. We start at the Control Center by highlighting the original file, Supplier, and pressing Shift F2. The Field Structure Design screen appears. To create a sort on two fields, we again use the Organize menu. The choice we want is Sort Database on Field List. The Sort Design box opens and we are ready to design our new sorted file. We'll start by telling dBase which field to sort first. Now, we could type the field name like we did the last time, but this time we will use a special feature to fill in the field name. This feature is called the Field Name Pick List. As you might guess, the field name Pick List is a list of all field names in our database. The pick list lets us pick the field name we want. dBase then types the field name for us. The pick list is especially helpful if we can't remember the exact name of a field. We'll show you how to use the pick list now. The navigation line at the bottom of the screen tells us how to open the list. The line says Pick List Shift F1. On our computer, we press Shift F1. When we do, a box appears listing all the field names in the supplier file. The first field we want sorted is the city field. We use the arrow keys to highlight city. Next, we press Enter to make our selection. When we do, the pick list disappears and our field name, city, is entered automatically in our sort design. Next, we tell dBase how to organize information in the city field. We want the city names to be listed in alphabetical order, beginning with A. We will use ascending ASCII order, which is already displayed. To move to the next field, we press the down arrow key. We'll use the pick list again to enter our second field name. We press Shift F1. Using the down arrow key, we highlight our next field name, amount credit, and press Enter. Again, the pick list box disappears and our field name is automatically filled in. Now we will tell dBase how to organize the amount credit field. We press Enter to move to Type of Sort. We would like the companies that give XYZ the highest amount of credit listed on top. So we want dBase to sort the amount of credit in descending order, with the highest amount on top. You can remember that descending means highest numbers on top by thinking of descending in an elevator. The floors with the highest numbers are on top. We will use descending ASCII, so we press the space bar until descending ASCII appears. We have now completed designing our new sorted database file. As we said earlier, we must tell dBase we are at the end of the design process. To do so, we use the keychain Control-End. When we do, a prompt box appears, asking us to name the new file. We type CitySup, short for City Group Supplier List, and press Enter. When we do, dBase quickly creates our new database file. To see the new sorted database file, we return to the Control Center. At the Control Center, we see our new file, CitySup, listed in the Data panel. To see the file, we highlight the file name and press the Data key, F2. Notice that our records are now grouped alphabetically by city. Within each city, the companies are listed as we specified. The highest amount of credit is on top. If you wish, stop the tape and practice designing a sorted file based on two fields. To end the designing process and create the sorted file, use the keychain Control-End. When you are done, view your new sorted file. As you can see, the sort feature is a valuable organization tool. Sort is used most often when a whole new version of the original database file is needed. For example, the XYZ Corporation might create a sorted version of its employee database. The original database file could remain in the personnel department. The new sorted database file might be sent to the accounting office, where financial information on salaries, tax IDs, and pension status could be added and sorted in special ways. Some companies use the sort feature to create a new organized database file. The original unorganized database file is then saved as a backup or archive file. However useful the sort feature may be, there are certain factors to consider when sorting. On a large database, creating a new sorted database file can take a lot of space on your disk. For example, in this lesson, we made a new database file with records sorted by name. We also made another new database file with records sorted by city. Plus, we still have our original file called supplier. We therefore have 3 database files on our work disk, all contain the same records. Because we have many files that contain the same records, updating the records is difficult. For example, if the Speedy Supply Company moved, we would need to update our records. To do so, we would have to make the changes in all 3 files. In other words, we would have to make the same changes 3 different times. Also, if we add records, we would have to add the records to all three files. Therefore, a sort is best used only when an entire new version of a database file is really needed. Later, you will learn other ways to organize information in a database. You have now finished this lesson on creating a sorted file. In a short time, you have learned how to organize information using the dBase sort feature, design a sorted file, select from 4 different sorts, sort a file on one field, create a sorted file on 2 or more fields, use the field name pick list to enter field names, create and save sorts using Control-N, retrieve sorted files. Once you have mastered these sorting skills, the Extra for Experts section of your guidebook is available to help you advance even further. If you wish, stop the tape and use the exercises in your guidebook to practice creating sorted files on your own. You can rewind the tape for review at any time. In this lesson, Organizing a Database Using Indexes, you will learn how to create an index based on one field using the field structure screen, create an index based on 2 or more fields using the Organize menu, use index expressions, use the expression builder, save an index, look in an indexed database file. In the last lesson, you learned how to organize a database using the dBase sort feature. You saw that the sort feature can be a useful tool when you need to create a new organized database file. But it isn't always necessary to create an entire new database file to organize records. In fact, as we said earlier, using the sort feature to organize records can take up a lot of disk space. Creating a new sorted file can also make updating records difficult. dBase provides another feature that will organize records without creating an entire new database file. That feature is called the index feature. The dBase index feature is a powerful tool that will display your database organized any way you want. However, the original database never changes. What changes is the way we look at the database. Here's how. The dBase index feature works like a camera lens filter. Filters are used on camera lenses to make objects look different. One kind of filter might make the object look green. Another filter may make the object look pink, or blue, or yellow. Like a camera lens filter, an index makes our database look different. One kind of index may display our database in alphabetical order. Another index may display our database in numeric order. Again, the original database file never changes. The only thing that changes is the way we look at the database file. Each index displays our records in a different order. We choose the filter or type of index we want to use, and with a touch of a button, dBase does the rest. Using the index feature is easy. We'll show you how in a moment. First, a few words on how the index feature works. When we use the index feature, dBase creates a special file called an index file. The index file does not contain any records. Instead, the file contains a set of instructions. dBase uses these instructions to display an organized version of the database file. To show you how the index feature works, we will create 2 indexes using the database file called Midwest. Midwest is a list of XYZ company employees in the company's Midwest division. Indexes are based on fields. One index will organize records in the Midwest file based on the last name field. The other index will organize records based on the zip code field. To create our indexes, we will start at the Control Center. To design an index, we use the Field Structure Design screen. With the Midwest file highlighted, we use the Design keychain, Shift F2. When the Field Structure Design screen appears, we press Escape to close the Organize menu box. Notice the last column on the Field Structure screen. This is the Index column. The column is filled with Ns. The Ns mean no, these fields are not indexed. In a moment, we will use this column to create our indexes. But first, we must tell dBase which fields to base the indexes on. Our first index will be based on the last name field. The highlight is already in the L name field. To move the cursor to the index column, we use the Tab key. Then we press Y for yes, meaning yes. We want to create an index based on this field. Our next index will be based on the zip code field. The procedure is the same. We move the highlight to the zip code field. Then we move the cursor to the index column and press Y. Now we have marked the two fields we want to base our indexes on. One index will be based on the last name field, and one index will be based on the zip code field. We are now at the end of the process of designing our index. As we learned in the last lesson, when you're at the end of the design process, we use the keychain Control-End. A new box appears, asking if we want to save these changes. We do, so we press Y for yes. While dBase creates our indexes, boxes appear showing the names of the fields being indexed and how many records were indexed. In a moment, we are back to the Control Center screen. On our disk, our original database has not changed. Rather, dBase made two indexes and stored them in an index file. We cannot see the indexes right now. If we could, we would see that the indexes contain instructions for organizing our database. Even though we cannot see the instructions, dBase can. dBase uses the instructions from the index file together with our original database to display an organized version of our database. We'll ask dBase to display our database now. First, we will ask dBase to display our database organized by our zip code index. Then we will look at our database organized by the last name index. Starting at the Control Center, notice that our new indexes do not appear in any of the panels. To see the database based on our new indexes, we return to the Field Structure Design screen. With Midwest highlighted, we press Shift F2. From the Organize menu, we want the choice Order Records by Index. So we press O for Order. When we do, two new boxes appear. On the far right is the Index Name box. This box contains a list of indexes we created. dBase automatically gave our indexes the names LName and zip. Notice the small box to the left of the index names. The small box shows which field each index is based on. For example, next to the LName index, the small box says LName. This reminds us that the last name index is based on the LName field. When we move the highlight down to the zip index, we see that the zip index is based on the zip field. First, we will look at our database organized with the zip code index. With our highlight on the zip index name, we press Enter. To display the data, we press the Data key, F2. When we do, data appears on the Browse screen. Notice that the zip code field has been organized in numeric order. The status bar shows we are still using the Midwest file. To look at our database organized with the last name index, we must return to the Design screen. We open the Exit menu. Return to Database Design is the choice we want, so we press R. When we do, the Design screen is displayed. Again, the Organize menu box is open. Order Records by Index is the choice we want, so we press O. The list of indexes is displayed. The LName index is already highlighted. We select the highlighted index by pressing Enter. To see the data, we press the Data key, F2. Again, the Browse screen appears. This time, the list of XYZ employees is displayed in order according to last names and is no longer sorted according to zip codes. To see the beginning of the new list, we press Page Up. If you wish, stop the tape and practice creating indexes on your computer. Use the Midwest file, display the field structure design screen, and create indexes based on the last name and zip code fields. To look at indexed records, use the Order command in the Organize menu. You just learned how to organize a database using the dBase index feature. You learned that the index feature does not change our original database file. Instead, each index displays our data organized in a new way. For example, our last name index displays records organized by the last name field. Notice that even though we organized our records with the last name index, the names aren't quite in correct order yet. There are 3 Lindquist in the file: Kim, David, and Ann Lindquist. Note that Kim's name appears first, David's second, and Ann's third. If this list were in true alphabetical order, Ann's name would appear first, then David's, then Kim's. dBase did exactly what we told it to. We told dBase to alphabetize records based on last names only. The problem is, several employees have the same last name. To correct this problem, we must ask dBase to index the first names also. That means we must create an index based on 2 fields instead of just 1. We will tell dBase to organize the records based on the L name field and the F name field. We will create an index based on the last name field and first name field right now. To create an index, we must return to the database design screen. To exit the Browse screen and return to the database design screen, we open the Exit menu. To select Return to Database Design, we press R. When the Field Structure Design screen appears, the Organize menu box is already open. To create an index based on 2 fields, the choice we want is Create New Index. So we press C. A new box appears. This is the Index Design box. The bottom part of the box gives instructions on how to design an index. The top part of the box is where we actually design the index. dBase has left spaces here to fill in the design of our index. We will start on the first line, Name of Index. To fill in the line, we must first select the line. We must make sure the line is highlighted, then press Enter. When we do, the brackets disappear and a cursor appears. dBase is now ready to accept our index name. Index names can be 10 characters long. We will call our index Alpha for alphabetical order. After typing Alpha, we press Enter. Notice that the brackets reappear on the name line. The highlight automatically moves to the next line, called Index Expression. Again, to select the line, we press Enter. The brackets disappear and the cursor appears. dBase is ready to accept our index expression. An index expression is a special phrase that tells dBase which fields to base an index on. Our index will be based on the last name and the first name fields. On our computer, we type L name. To add the second field, we must tell dBase to add, so we type the plus sign. Now suppose we can't remember the exact name of the second field. This is not a problem. dBase has a feature that reminds us of correct field names and expression phrases. This special feature is called the Expression Builder. The Expression Builder is similar to the field name pick list we used to fill in field names in the previous lesson. Both contain choices for filling in field names, but the Expression Builder contains even more choices. We will use the Expression Builder now to finish building our index expression. The navigation line tells us to open the Expression Builder with the key chain Shift F1. When we do, the Expression Builder box appears. The box has 3 columns. we will only be using the first column. The first column lists all the field names in our database. Looking down the list of field names, we see that the correct name of our first name field is fname. Now we could type this field name in the index design box, or we could let the expression builder enter the name for us. To choose the fname field, we simply highlight fname and press enter. When we do, the expression builder box disappears and fname appears in the index expression line. We have now filled in the complete index expression for our new index. The complete expression is lname plus fname. To enter the expression, we press enter. The highlight moves to the line called order of index. This is where we choose the kind of organization we want. When organizing records using the index feature, dBase only gives us two choices: ascending order and descending order. Both kinds of order are ASCII. Again, ASCII organizes capital letters first, then lowercase. We choose an index order using the space bar. We press the space bar once and descending appears. For our index, we want ascending order. We press the space bar again and ascending appears. We are now at the end of the process of designing our index. Again, when we're at the end of the design process, we use the keychain Control-End. When we do, dBase creates and saves the new index. A box briefly appears telling us which fields were indexed. Notice that the status bar shows we are still using the Midwest file. Again, the records in the original database have not changed. To look at our records based on our new index, we use the same procedure we used earlier. We open the Organize menu. We want Order Records by Index, so we press O. A box appears listing all the indexes we created. The index name Alpha is highlighted. Notice that the small box next to the index names now says lname plus fname. Again, this box tells us what fields each index is based on. To select the alpha index, we press enter. Now, to see the data, we press F2. The Browse screen appears. Note that both the first and last names are now in alphabetical order. For example, Ann Lindquist is now before David Lindquist and Kim Lindquist. We are now finished with the Midwest file. To exit from the Browse screen, we open the Exit menu and press E to select Exit. dBase brings us back to the Control Center. If you wish, stop the tape and practice creating an index based on two fields. Use the Organize menu to design the index. When finished, use the keychain Control-End to end the design process and save the new index. To look at indexed records, use Order from the Organize menu. As you've seen in these last two lessons, organizing a database with dBase 4 is easy, using the index and sort features. You can choose either of these two powerful features depending on your needs. If you need to organize one set of records many different ways, you may want to use the index feature. The index feature will display and print your records organized any way you want. One advantage to using the index feature is that indexes take up less space on your disk than a number of sorted files. Perhaps the biggest advantage of indexing is that indexing does not change the original database. We always work with the same original database file. Therefore, updating and adding records is easy. On the other hand, if you need to create a new organized version of your database file, then you may want to use the sort feature. With sort, you can choose one method of organization and create a copy of your database based on that organization. Advantages of using sort are that sorting is easy to do and a sorted file can be faster to work with, especially when the file is very large. On the other hand, as we said earlier, sorting can use up a lot of disk space. Sorted files can also be more difficult to update. Whatever your needs, both the index and sort features can be effective ways to organize your database records. To conclude, we'd like to give you one final important note on creating indexes. Even though creating an index is easy, removing an index can have a major impact on certain dBase operations. Therefore, it is important to plan the long-term usefulness of your indexes before creating them. More information on creating and removing an index is provided in your guidebook. You have now finished this lesson on organizing a database using indexes. In a short time, you have learned how to create an index from the field structure screen, design an index on 2 or more fields using the organizing menu, use index expressions, use the expression builder, save an index, look at an indexed database file. Once you have mastered these indexing skills, the Extra for Experts section of your guidebook is available to help you advance even further. If you wish, stop the tape and use the exercises in your guidebook to practice creating indexes on your own. You can rewind the tape for review at any time. In this lesson, Printing a Quick Report, you will learn how to use the Quick Report feature, select a file for printing, print a database file from the Control Center, print an indexed database file from the Browse screen. In previous lessons, you learned how to create, modify, and organize database files using dBase 4. To look at the data in our files, we have 2 choices. We can display the data on the computer screen, or we can print the data on paper. There are different ways to print data with dBase 4. Printouts can be as simple or elaborate as you choose. In this lesson, we will show you one way to print data using the dBase Quick Report feature. The Quick Report feature is a fast, easy way to print data from a database file. Before we begin, a brief note on printers and dBase 4. dBase 4 will work with most kinds of printers, but your printer must be properly connected. For more information on setting up a printer with your computer, consult your dBase manual. Now we are ready to begin printing with the dBase Quick Report feature. We are going to print 2 files. First, we will print the sorted file we created earlier named CitySup. Then we will print the Midwest file organized with the alpha index we created in the last lesson. To print our first file, we use the Control Center. The navigation line tells us that to print a quick report, we use Shift F9. Shift F9 is the Quick Report keychain. On our computer, we simply highlight our file name CitySup and press Shift F9. When we do, dBase displays the Quick Report menu. The menu lists several choices that let us decide how the report will look. One of the choices, View Report on Screen, lets us view our report before printing. To select View Report on Screen, we press V. Viewing the report on the monitor before printing is a convenient way to make sure our data will print properly. In a few moments, our report is displayed on the screen. This is how our report would appear on paper when we print it. Notice that the data wraps onto the next line. There isn't enough room to hold all the data from a record on one line. The leftover data wraps around to begin another line. In a moment, we will show you how to print this report without the lines wrapping. First, we'll look at more of our report. The navigation line tells us that to view more of the report, we press the space bar. To escape the view screen, the navigation line tells us to press Escape. When we do, dBase asks us to press any key to continue. We press Enter. In a few moments, the Control Center is displayed. Now we will print the report. We press Shift F9. To begin printing, we press B. In a few moments, the report is printed. Printing a quick report is quick. To start printing, simply highlight the file name and press Shift F9. On our report, we see that the information from each record wrapped onto the next line. Wrapping can make reports difficult to read. Now we will give the printer instructions to print the report without wrapping. To control the way the printer prints our report, we again use the Quick Report Print menu. With the CitySup file highlighted, we press the Quick Report key chain, Shift F9. The choice we want is Control of Printer, so we press C. The Control of Printer menu lets us choose the print size and quality and how paper is fed through the printer. To keep the lines of our report from wrapping, we will condense our text pitch. That means we will shrink the width of our lines so that they will fit. In the Quick Report menu, text pitch is already highlighted. To see our pitch choices, we press the space bar until condensed appears. To choose condensed and leave the menu, we press Escape. Now we're ready to print our condensed report. From the Print menu, we select Begin Printing. In a moment, dBase begins printing our report without wrapping the data. Before you begin printing on your computer, a word about printing reports with dBase. dBase automatically prints a total for all numeric fields. On our printout, a total appears at the bottom of the amount of credit column. dBase added the numbers in the column and printed a total amount. If you wish, stop the tape and view a report. Then print a quick report. Finally, condense the data and reprint the report. As you just learned, printing a quick report from the dBase Control Center is easy. But we don't have to be at the Control Center to print files. With the Quick Report feature, we can print files from most any screen. To show you, we'll print an indexed version of our Midwest database from the Browse screen. To begin, we highlight the file name and press Shift F2. When the field structure screen appears, we select Order Records by Index from the Organize menu. With the Alpha Index highlighted, we press Enter. To display the data, we press F2. Our data is now displayed. The data is organized alphabetically based on the Alpha Index. We are now ready to print. To begin, we press the Quick Report key chain, Shift F9, and dBase displays the print menu. To select Begin Printing, we press B. In a few moments, dBase will print a report using the condensed pitch we selected earlier. The printer begins printing our report in alphabetical order. We could use the same procedure to print other indexes also. In fact, the Quick Report feature makes virtually any printing job fast and easy. If you wish, stop the tape and practice printing a report from the Browse screen on your computer. You have now finished this lesson on printing a quick report. In a short time, you learned how to transform the data on your computer screen into a quick report. You have learned how to use the Quick Reports feature, select a file for printing, print a database file from the Control Center, print an indexed database file from the Browse screen. Once you have mastered these printing skills, the Extra for Experts section of your guidebook is available to help you advance even further. If you wish, stop the tape and use the exercises in your guidebook to practice printing files on your own. You can rewind the tape for review at any time. Congratulations! You have now gained comprehensive knowledge of how to organize and print databases using dBase 4. In this course, Organizing and Printing Databases, you have learned how to use the sort feature to create a new, organized version of a database. You also learned how to use the index feature to display a database according to the kind of organization you want. And finally, you learned how to use the Quick Report feature to print quick copies of your database. With these skills, you can now go on to discover and use the full data management powers of dBase 4. Other courses in the Learn PC dBase 4 training series can help provide the skills you need to expand your abilities. As you work with dBase 4 in your computer, you will find that this course is a valuable tool for refreshing and for reference. In particular, you will find the guidebooks or handy reference tools. The power of dBase 4 is now at your fingertips. After you stop the tape, harness the power of dBase 4 to help fill your own data management needs.